Unlocking the sacred wisdom of the Corpus Hermeticum. 7 miraculous truths revealed for divine transformation. In the quaint English village of Willowbrook, the sound of church bells rang like a heavenly chorus, echoing through the morning mist, stirring hope in the hearts of all who listened. But for Mary, a devoted mother, that melody felt increasingly distant. Her laughter-filled home had become a hollow shell, with only sorrow lingering as she cared for her son, Samuel, whose once vibrant spirit was now clouded by illness. With every passing day, Mary wrestled with despair, the weight of grief heavy upon her heart. One fateful morning, as dawn slowly emerged like a promise, Mary ventured into the church's attic, seeking solace amidst old memories and whispers of faith. Tucked away was a dusty, leather-bound tome, the Corpus Hermeticum. The spine creaked as she opened it, and suddenly, words leapt from the pages, shimmering like sacred light. In the depths of darkness, the divine spark remains. She felt a warmth envelop her, a gentle presence urging her to delve deeper into the mysteries that might restore her beloved Samuel. Mary read fervently, each line igniting her spirit like a candle in the dark. What if these teachings held the key to miraculous healing? Yet, doubt still nibbled at the edges of her heart, a persistent shadow whispering of her husband Peter's fears and the murmurs of their tight-knit community. Lady Grace, the wise matriarch, warned Mary to remain steadfast in Scripture, her voice tightening with concern. Desperation can lead one astray, my child, Lady Grace cautioned, offering Mary a kind, weathered hand. But Mary felt a stirring, a pull toward the wisdom within the book. She couldn't ignore the profound shift in her spirit that awakened with each reading. With a heart full of determination, Mary gathered her friends for prayer sessions. Every whisper for divine intervention rang fervently through the air. But soon a growing divide emerged. Peter's unease intensified as nighttime found Mary on her knees, pleading for a revelation that teetered on the edge of madness. And then came that moment, the flicker of Samuel's eyelids, a breath of laughter escaping his lips that pierced her heart with hope. Mary laughed and wept simultaneously, feeling a rush of divine warmth surround her. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet Samuel's health wavered still. On a serene evening, desperation bubbled within Mary like a storm about to break. She consulted the village physician and scoured every herbal remedy, each visit to a local healer testing her faith in the unseen. Whispers rippled through the community, faith or folly. But as despair over Samuel's fate darkened the edges of hope, warmth blossomed again. An inexplicable spark returned to Samuel's eyes, a smile illuminating the shadows where darkness had taken root. The villagers gathered, their hearts soaring with excitement and prayer. But looming questions filled the air. Was this recovery divine or mere coincidence? Mary rose before them, her voice a steady heartbeat. The church that once felt like a sanctuary brimmed with life as Mary shared her story, igniting a luminous fire of belief among all present. Yet, just as faith burgeoned, whispers of doubt trickled through the congregation, looming like a heavy cloud as they stepped out into the light. What divine truths of the Corpus Hermeticum awaited their discovery? And what path would Mary tread next in the great tapestry of faith that bound them all? As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of soft gold and deep lavender, Mary stood at the edge of the churchyard, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. The whispers of doubt lingered like a bittersweet melody, woven into the fabric of her thoughts. She had shared her story, igniting hope, yet the shadows of uncertainty cast a pall over her heart. Returning to her son's bedside felt like a pilgrimage. Samuel lay peacefully wrapped in the warmth of the evening glow, but the fight for his health traversed heights and depths Mary had never imagined. She looked down at his fragile form, hoping to see the vibrant boy he once was. "Lord, grant him strength," she whispered softly, clutching the leather-bound tome against her chest, its pages warm with the imprint of faith and her devotion. Mary's fingers grazed the sacred words within the book, each line, a shimmering thread weaving a tapestry of divine wisdom. She felt the stirrings of hope, urging her not to abandon this newfound path. But what if it all slipped away? That very night, an unexpected visitor appeared at the door. Lady Grace. The matriarch's presence was as calming as the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. "Mary," she began, her voice a gentle balm, "I have heard the murmurs among the village, yet I see the light in your eyes. Do not let fear overshadow your faith." Mary nodded, gratitude swelling within her. "But how do we discern what is from God and what is mere illusion?" she questioned, her voice trembling with uncertainty. Lady Grace took a step closer, her eyes twinkling with understanding. "Faith is like a candle in the dark. It flickers, it trembles, yet it burns on. You must trust the flame within you. Seek not just the prayer, but the action. Faith needs feet, dear Mary. It needs to walk." Determined, Mary resolved to embark on a new journey, a journey of action. She gathered the villagers, inviting them to join her in a day of prayer and healing light, envisioning a community bound together in hope and the spirit of love. Perhaps they could harness the teachings from the sacred text to mend broken bodies and heal wounded souls. As dawn broke on the day of healing, the church filled with villagers, an air of expectancy softening the usual solemnity. "Let us gather and light our candles," Mary announced, her voice rising above the murmurs. She handed each person a small candle, each flame flickering like the whisper of prayer sent heavenward. Together, they formed a circle, prayers flowing freely, a melody of faith drenched in devotion. As they recited words from the Corpus Hermeticum, echoes of belief melded with the scent of burning wicks and the warmth of gathered hearts. In the midst of their worship, the candles began to dance, as if responding to a deep, unseen presence. Samuel stirred from his slumber, drawn by the resonance surrounding him. His eyes fluttered open, a smile breaking across his cherubic face. The room filled with a golden light, illuminating the once dark spaces of despair, transforming them into pockets of divine grace. Just then, one of the villagers, Anne, cried out in awe, "Look, the light! It's brighter than before." In that moment, hearts quickened with joy, breath caught in reverence. Skepticism fell away like autumn leaves, replaced by a fervor that surged through the gathered assembly. Yet as they celebrated the blossoming faith, a quiet, lingering question hung in the air. Was this the beginning of something greater, a miracle just waiting to unfold? Mary, bathed in the warmth of the moment, felt a stirring within, a call moving beyond the bounds of her own understanding. What awaited them on this path? What divine truths would illuminate their way forward? With eager hearts and open spirits, the villagers prepared to face the unknown, each step bringing them closer to the profound mysteries only God could unveil. With each flicker of the candles, the air thickened with a palpable sense of divine presence. The villagers, eyes dancing with awe, leaned closer, their hearts captured by the moment. Mary felt a wave of warmth wash over her, washing away the shadows of doubt that had lingered so long. She knew, without uncertainty, that something profound was unfurling before them. "Let us hold our intentions close," Mary urged, her voice steady and clear. "In these moments, we lay our burdens before him, trusting that he hears our cries." At the center of the circle, Samuel's laughter rang like a sweet note among the prayers, an echo of innocence that stirred a deeper understanding within those gathered. His presence was a reminder of hope in the flesh, a beacon illuminating the path for the community. Then, as the final words of prayer floated into the ether, the atmosphere shifted. A hush fell. From the depths of silence, a voice emerged, soft but clear. "Who is this that prays with such fervor?" It was a question that seemed to rise from the very heart of the divine. The villagers glanced at each other, each searching for an answer. "An echo of goddess love," Mary declared, her spirit emboldened. "We are his children, united in faith and purpose." As her words resonated, the candles burned brighter. The golden light radiated warmth, wrapping around each of them like a warm embrace. Villagers began to murmur among themselves, sharing stories of their own doubts and dreams, reflecting on the miracles of everyday life. It was as though a hidden reservoir of faith had been unearthed, each story a vital part of this sacred tapestry they were weaving together. Lady Grace moved closer to Mary, her voice barely more than a whisper. These truths that we have uncovered, they will lead us, if we let them. Goddess whispers are oftentimes hidden in our hearts. Mary nodded, eyes filled with tears of gratitude. It dawned on her then that this gathering was more than a prayer, it was a communion of spirits, each person an instrument in the symphony of divine will. Together they resonated with a single truth. They were not alone, and together they could face whatever lay ahead. Just as night closes in on day, signaling the promise of dawn, something began to shift within the air, an electric tension, raw with potential, as light danced across the walls of the church, and stepped forward, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. I feel it too. Something is coming. A tidal wave of blessings. The villagers nodded in agreement, hearts pulsing with hope. Suddenly, a gentle gust of wind swept through the open doors of the church, extinguishing all the candles for a moment. Gasps echoed, but before panic could root, a voice as rich as the dawn broke through. It wasn't loud, but it carried the essence of peace. Do not fear what is coming. I am with you. The room was charged with expectation. They stood together, a collective heartbeat against the encroaching night. What wonders would the coming days bring? What lessons would they learn together? Mary's heart raced, fear and faith intertwined in a dance she couldn't fully comprehend. The villagers had ignited something within her, a desire to dig further into the wisdom that lay ahead. Would they discover deeper truths in the Corpus Hermeticum? What revelations awaited? Emboldened, Mary closed her eyes, inhaling the fragrance of possibility. All eyes were now on her as she whispered, "Let us open our hearts to his guidance. Together, we shall seek him, for there are mysteries yet to unfold." The air hummed, filled with unvoiced questions that lingered in the depths of their souls. With each candle flickering to life once more, the journey awaited them, one filled with promise and perhaps even greater miracles than they could have imagined. The silence deepened, yet the air crackled with energy, as if the very essence of the divine was gathering around them. Mary exhaled slowly, her heart an open vessel, craving the divine whispers that lingered just out of reach. She felt a stirring, a gentle prod from the spirit, mingling with the faint glow of revived candles. "Let us seek truth together," she encouraged. "In unity, we can uncover the wisdom hidden within our hearts." Her voice rang out with a newfound fervor, igniting a spark among the villagers. Samuel, still radiant with innocence, looked up at Mary. "Will we really find the answers?" he asked, uncertainty mirrored in the eyes of those around him. "Yes, dear Samuel," Lady Grace responded, lifting his spirits. "Faith is the key that unlocks the door to divine mystery. Every heartfelt question leads us closer to God's embrace." The villagers began to voice their hopes and fears, a chorus of longing filling the sacred space. Their dreams mingled in a tapestry of faith, sheltering each soul in a web of shared devotion. Conversations sparked with excitement, revealing their yearnings to understand life's deeper meaning, all while encouraged by the bright flicker of the candles. Mary felt a nudge to approach the altar. There, the tome of the Corpus Hermeticum sat waiting. It beckoned her, a reservoir of ancient wisdom whispered through generations. She picked it up carefully, holding it as one would a newborn. "This," she began, her voice trembling with anticipation, "holds the keys to understanding divine mysteries. Together we will unlock its truths." The villagers leaned in, anticipation etched upon their faces. With tender hands, she opened the book, pages fluttering like wings in the soft church breeze. As words danced before her eyes, a light filled her soul, a sudden clarity washed over her. "The first truth," she proclaimed, her voice gathering strength, "is that all things are interconnected. We are threads in the grand tapestry of creation, woven together by God's loving hand." Murmurs of agreement flowed through the crowd. They felt it resonate within them, a collective understanding igniting the air. Next, Mary continued, emboldened, the Spirit resides within every being. We are not separate from God. His divine spark lives in each of us. Gasps of revelation mingled with whispers of intrigue. What else lay within those ancient pages? Third, she urged on, the warmth of inspiration enveloping her. The universe reflects our souls. Every joy and sorrow, every question and insight, is revealed in the world around us. As each truth unfolded, the light in the room flickered with increasing intensity, illuminating faces radiating hope. The moment felt suspended in time. They were breathing in revelation, allowing it to flow within them. Let us not forget, Mary continued, a sense of urgency rising within her, that love is the greatest force of all. It binds us, heals us, and transforms our brokenness. A low hum of agreement filled the church. Hands touched, eyes shone, and hearts beat in unison. Finally, with a shimmer in her eyes, she spoke of the sixth truth. Our faith is a journey, not a destination. Each step we take more deeply into the divine leads us toward understanding and grace. Doubt melted away with each revelation, like wax dripping from the burning candles. The villagers were ready, hearts wide open, spirits willing. But there was one last truth waiting to emerge, a divine crescendo she had yet to reveal. Suddenly, the air grew thicker, pulsing like the rhythm of life itself. The tension was palpable. What could this last truth be? Whispered a voice from the crowd, tension mingling with anticipation. Mary held their gaze, her heart racing. In love, we find the power to transform the world, but what if transformation is not just outward, but inward as well? The question hung in the air, heavy with promise yet shrouded in mystery. The villagers stood together, breath held and hearts attuned, their spirits eager for what the embrace of God might unveil next. What were these last mysteries they were yet to discover? A journey awaited them, a journey to transformation, shaped by divine love and enduring faith. The weight of anticipation hung like a shroud in the air. Mary, caught in a divine moment, felt the pulse of the Spirit guiding her. She glanced at the eager faces surrounding her, each one a seeker, a vessel prepared to receive. Her heart beat in rhythm with the whispers of the sacred tome. They were on the brink of revelation. Inward transformation, she repeated softly, allowing the weight of those words to settle in. What if the journey begins within ourselves? We must open our hearts wide enough to let the divine light illuminate the shadows we hide. The villagers seemed to lean in closer, eyes reflecting a mix of hope and curiosity. Lady Grace took a breath. But how do we start this transformation? Mary, what does it mean for each of us? Mary smiled gently, sensing the depth of their question. It begins with acceptance. Accepting our imperfections, our struggles, and the parts of ourselves we wrestle with. It's acknowledging both the light and the dark. Samuel's eyes widened. But isn't that difficult? At times, yes, Mary acknowledged, her voice tender yet firm. But it is in that difficulty we find grace. God's love lifts us up from our struggles. It doesn't erase them. It gives us the courage to face them. A soft murmur of agreement swept through the congregation. The atmosphere buzzed with a gentle energy, as questions began to blossom in their hearts. Each pondered the shadows lurking within their own souls. Let love transform our fears, Mary encouraged. When we fill our hearts with love, Goddess love, we begin to see that our struggles are not traits to hide, but experiences to grow from. Lady Grace's hands trembled as she spoke next. Could it also mean loving those who hurt us? The brokenness that lies outside ourselves? Mary nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. Love is the balm that heals not only us, but also our relationships. When we choose faith in love over judgment, we bring ourselves closer to God's desire for unity. Imagine the bonds we could forge. The villagers exchanged glances, hearts swelling with the potential of this truth. Samuel whispered, "Then it's like we become a network of light glowing with the grace of God." "Yes," declared Mary. "And as we shine brighter, we guide each other along this path of transformation. We carry one another in our hearts, revealing the divine fingerprints in our lives. Accompanied by an ever-growing warmth, Mary continued, "The last truth I sense within these pages speaks of action. Remember, faith is alive. It manifests in how we treat one another, in how we share God's love." As if the very fabric of time shifted, a quiet stillness enveloped them. Shadows flickered against the walls, dancing in the candlelight while prayers began to form in the hearts of those present. Each thought, each longing became a thread weaving into the growing tapestry of faith. "Let us pray." Mary's voice rose above the silence, echoing like a bell ringing forth hope. "Let this be our commitment, to love, to transform, and to reveal God's glory in our daily lives." Hands joined in a circle, fingers entwined, the villagers bowed their heads. The aroma of burning candles mingled with their whispered prayers, creating a fragrant offering of devotion. Mary felt a divine warmth envelop them all, a holy presence in their midst. But just then, a commotion stirred at the entrance of the church. A figure appeared, breathless and illuminated as if stepping from another realm. Gasps echoed through the congregation, hearts racing. Who was this newcomer? What truth would they bring to the already charged atmosphere? Mary's gaze locked onto the figure, a question bubbling forth in her heart. What divine message awaited them now? What transformation loomed on the horizon? As she waited for answers, she could almost hear the heartbeat of eternity beckoning them closer. A stillness embraced the air like a warm blanket, wrapping around the villagers. Eyes widened as the newcomer stepped further into the candlelight, revealing a figure draped in flowing robes, eyes sparkling with a wisdom that seemed to ebb from another time. The energy shifted, pulling them closer together as they sought the source of this light. "Peace be with you all," the stranger greeted, voice deep and melodic, echoing through the sacred space. "I am Jonah, sent to share a message of hope." Mary felt a stirring within her heart, a surge of anticipation igniting her spirit. She gestured for Jonah to continue, her heart aligning with the rhythm of divine expectation. "What truth do you bring, Jonah?" Jonah advanced, the flickering candlelight dancing across his robes. "You ask of inward transformation, yet it is not merely a quiet endeavor. It is a call to action. God's love cannot remain passive. It must spill forth, igniting hearts and changing lives." Samuel shifted on his feet, a hint of doubt clouding his gaze. "But how? How do we take this love and manifest it in a world that is often harsh and unyielding?" Jonah smiled knowingly, as if he saw through their uncertainty. "Look at the ways you can bring light into darkness. Through kindness in a smile shared with a stranger, in the patience you show to those who test you. Every act powered by love transforms. When woven together, these acts can create ripples of change." A profound silence followed. Each villager hung on Jonah's words as if they held the keys to their own hearts. Lady Grace's eyes shone with realization. "So it's not just about us, is it? It's about how we touch the lives of others around us." "Exactly," Jonah replied, an approving nod accompanying his gentle tone. "Your journey towards transformation is intertwined with the journeys of those you encounter. You are not alone. The fabric of creation calls for unity in love. Reaching out in love fosters life that is vibrant, healing, and restorative." Mary could feel the truth of his words spreading like wildfire among them. "So what we learn here today is a commitment to love, yes, but to act in love," she reiterated, her spirit soaring. "What if we decided to be that love in action? To reach out and uplift those who are downtrodden?" As Jonah surveyed the villagers, his gaze settled on each face, igniting sparks of courage within them. This is the great secret to be vessels of light. In every encounter you have a choice, to yield to the darkness or let divine light flow through. Their hearts raced, possibilities bursting forth like blooming flowers. Samuel spoke again, his voice filled with excitement. "It's transformative. People will see God's love through our actions." Jonah raised his hands, inviting them into a moment of sacred contemplation. "And know this, dear friends, when you step into love, not only do you change others, but you change yourselves. Each act of kindness nourishes your own spirit." As they absorbed this revelation, The air thickened with a sweet aroma, a scent of blooming flowers in spring, reminiscent of hope and rebirth. Mary's heart fluttered. She felt an urgent call to share this light, to spread this message beyond their village. Yes, she exclaimed, the energy pulsing through her. This is only the beginning. We must carry this truth into the world, creating ripples of transformation wherever we go. But as unstoppable hope ignited within the congregation, Jonah's demeanor turned solemn. Yet, with this great calling also comes challenges. Not all will welcome the light. You must be ready to face opposition. Some shadows will resist. A collective hush fell over the group, the weight of his words settling in their hearts. The warmth they shared began to quiver, as if an unseen veil hung between them and their divine purpose. Will you stand strong in your commitment? Jonah asked, voice soft but unwavering. And so they pondered. Mary felt a tugging in her spirit, wondering how they would navigate the path ahead. The flickering flames flickered higher, whispering secrets and promises of the future. But uncertainty lingered just outside her grasp. What challenges awaited them on this journey of light? What forms would resistance take? As they wrestled with these thoughts, the echo of Jonah's profound words lingered, hinting at the unfolding tapestry of their destinies. The silence felt heavy, thick with unspoken thoughts and fears. Mary glanced around, witnessing the flurry of emotions playing across the villagers' faces. Some were emboldened, while others danced on the edge of apprehension. Jonah, she began, her voice trembling slightly, how do we prepare our hearts for the challenges you speak of? How do we stay anchored when the storms of doubt rage around us? Her sincerity rippled through the room, touching others who shared her trepidation. Jonah met her gaze with an understanding smile. Ah, dear Mary, he breathed softly. The key lies within the relationship you cultivate with the divine. In prayer, in reflection, in gathering as one, you find strength. Do not wait for the challenges to arise. Instead, focus on nurturing your bonds. Embrace the light in one another. Lift each other up. A sense of calm washed over the group as they could feel the truth settle gently in their hearts. What if we fail? Asked Samuel, vulnerability rolling off his tongue like a calming wave. How do we face the possibility of failure? Failure, Jonah replied, a spark igniting in his eyes, is not the end of the journey but a part of it. Remember, every stumble gives rise to learning. Embrace those moments, for they refine you. The love you strive to share is deeper and more powerful than you can comprehend right now. Lady Grace stepped forward, her brow furrowed but her spirit unwavering. Will we truly be able to create change, Jonah? Will our simple acts be enough? Every act of love, however small, echoes in eternity, he answered, the certainty in his voice reassuring. You may not see the full impact of your love, but it resonates. Trust in this divine rhythm. Mary nodded, newly ignited with resolve. Then let us be brave. Let us step forward together, carrying this love into our homes, the marketplace, everywhere we go. We must support one another in being fragrances of hope. As excitement began to mingle with the fears, Jonah raised his hands once more, inviting their energy into a collective prayer. Together, let us seek guidance. Together, we ask for strength. Let us open our hearts and minds to the possibilities waiting to unfold before us. A chorus of amen resonated within the sacred space as each villager closed their eyes, uniting their fears with hopes, their uncertainties intermingled with the promise of divine love. Then, an unexpected hush settled over the group. A gentle breeze drifted through the window, carrying whispers that felt like the breath of the divine. It stirred the tattered curtains and danced through their hair, awakening the realization that spirit was active among them. Jonah smiled at the wonder unfolding. This is part of the journey, celebrating the movement of the divine in your lives. Embrace it. Yet, as the sensation of warmth enveloped them, a shadow flickered in the corner. A feeling of unease resurfaced like a forgotten ghost, reminding them of the words spoken earlier. Not all would welcome the light. Jonah, Samuel interrupted with urgency. How do we navigate the resistance? What if fear grips us when we encounter it? Fear often casts a long shadow, Jonah replied, his voice firm. But remember, it is a choice. You must choose to walk in light. Keep your focus on love, for it shatters the darkest of fears. Hold tight to your purpose and one another. With hearts wide open and spirits ignited, they pivoted their focus towards a shared vision, a tapestry of love they would weave together. But with newfound strength came an unshakable question that lingered: would they truly be ready when darkness confronted them? As they opened their eyes, determination radiated from each face. A renewed purpose filled the room, yet doubts cast a haunting echo. What awaited them on this sacred journey? What shadows would rise to meet their light? And would they find the bravery needed to overcome? The sacred mystery of their trials awaited them, hinting at challenges yet unseen. As the last echoes of their amen faded, Jonah sensed a shift. The air seemed to thicken, vibrating with a hidden energy, one that trembled with expectation. He looked over the villagers, their faces lit with a resolve he had not seen before. They were ready to confront whatever the world deemed dark. Today, we embark on a journey. Every step we take is a declaration of hope, he said, feeling the weight of the moment. The villagers leaned in, hungry for further encouragement. Remember, dear ones, the most miraculous truth lies not in the absence of struggle, but within the abundance of grace that fuels us through it. The words poured from Jonah like water from a spring, refreshing the parched earth of their fears. Lady Grace, still with a furrowed brow, spoke again. What will be the first step? Where do we go from here? Her sincerity hung in the air, laced with the weight of responsibility. Your first step is to spread love wherever you can. Let it flow through your words, your actions, even your silences, Jonah replied, his voice a gentle embrace. Seek opportunities to uplift one another. It's in those small moments where you will find the strength to face the larger challenges. Mary felt a stirring within her. Then we shall take this love beyond the walls of our village. Let us share it with those who feel lost or forgotten. We can become a beacon. Yes, Samuel shouted, his eyes bright with excitement. We'll visit the sick, offer our hands to the weary, and listen to the hearts of those who are unheard. Love is a language everyone understands, even when words fail. A buzz of agreement swept through the villagers, each voice intertwining with the next, weaving a fabric of commitment. The prospect felt daunting, yet thrilling. What stories awaited to intertwine with their own? Let your actions be led by the Spirit, Jonah urged, strengthening their resolve. When you share love, expect resistance. Not everyone will understand your light. Remember, opposition will come, but it only serves to sharpen your purpose. As he spoke, Mary caught sight of a flicker of uncertainty in some eyes. Do we have to face this alone? She asked. Will God truly be with us as we step into this unknown? Ah, dear Mary, Jonah nodded, placing a steady hand over his heart. You will never walk alone. The divine walks with you, illuminating your path. It is in the quiet moments you will feel that presence most strongly, when the fear rises, when doubt whispers the loudest. Trust that divine love will carry you forward. The villagers nodded, murmurs echoing their newfound faith. The atmosphere shifted. The earlier tension melted into hope. Each person envisioned their tomorrow filled with simple yet significant actions: a kind word, a helping hand, a shared meal. Suddenly, a knock echoed from the door. It interrupted the moment, bringing a collective pause. Curious eyes turned towards the entrance. With a raised brow, Jonah strode toward the door. As he opened it, a figure stood there, cloaked in shadows, their intentions unclear. The group held their breath, sensing a weight in the air. A mix of intrigue and apprehension hung like a storm cloud overhead. Who stands at our door? Jonah called, his voice steady, embodying the love they had just spoken of. This was a moment to remember, one that could tip the scales toward either light or darkness. The figure stepped forward, and slowly, the dim light revealed a weary face, eyes reflecting a history of struggle. I seek help. The voice trembled, filled with a haunting vulnerability. The villagers leaned closer, feeling the tension of the moment. What would unfold next? Would they embrace this unexpected visitor into their sacred gathering? Or would fear take hold? With hearts pounding, they felt the weight of their mission heavy upon them. They had spoken of love, of light, but now, in the face of another who stood in need, would they respond with open arms? Would they stand together in faith at the door of the unknown? For the path now branched outwards. Their choices, their actions, these would define not only their journey but the future of the village. They were at a sacred crossroad, staring into the swirling eddies of divine possibility. What would their response reveal about the light they carried within? With the door still ajar, an electric stillness enveloped the gathering. Jonah's eyes locked onto the stranger, searching for a flicker of familiarity in those weary features. The villagers shared glances, uncertainty swirling among them like autumn leaves caught in the wind. "Please come in," Jonah said, his voice warm, inviting. He stepped aside, allowing the figure entry. As the stranger crossed the threshold, the air around them seemed to shift again, charged with something sacred. "I am Alia," the figure said softly, her voice brittle like dry leaves. "I wander from a town that has forgotten hope. My spirit is heavy, and I have nowhere else to turn." "Welcome, Alia." Lady Grace stepped forward, her heart responding to the woman's despair. "You are safe here. We are gathered to share love and lift one another." If only Alia knew the power that lay in those words. The villagers, inspired by Jonah's call, drew closer, creating a circle of warmth and acceptance around their unexpected guest. Alia lowered her head, tears glistening in her eyes. "I fear I bring my troubles with me. I come seeking solace, but I'm afraid I carry darkness." "Light can shatter the deepest gloom," Jonah replied, feeling the urgency within him. "In sharing your burden, we can help carry it together. Hope is a shared flame. It flickers brighter when passed from one soul to another." A silence followed, each villager reflecting on their own burdens. Samuel, gathering courage, said, "Alia, our hearts are open. Tell us of your struggles. Let us be a part of your journey. We've all faced shadows of our own." With gentle encouragement, Alia began to share her tale of loss, loneliness, and a profound yearning for connection. As her words tumbled out, the distance between her and the villagers faded. They witnessed her raw honesty, each syllable a thread sewing together a tapestry of shared humanity. Mary, feeling compassion wash over her, stepped forward. "We understand despair. It's easy to feel lost, but love is the lantern that guides us home, though the way may seem unclear. We invite you to walk with us, Alia." As Alia continued, Jonah sensed the spirit weaving through their gathering. Unity shimmered in the air as the villagers spoke words of affirmation, reaching out to touch her hand or offer her a soft embrace. Each connection breathed life into Alia's weary soul, allowing light to seep into the crevices of her darkest fears. What blossomed around them felt miraculous, a sacred exchange built on vulnerability and love. It was one thing to speak of light and love. It was another to embody it so wholly in a moment of need. Alia's burden began to feel lighter. The once suffocating shadows that seemed so heavy lifted, replaced by an inexplicable warmth spreading through the gathering. Hope, once distant, ignited within her, dancing in the glow of the kindness surrounding her. "I came seeking shelter," she said, her voice steadier now. "But what I have found is more than I hoped for: community, compassion, love." The villagers nodded, feeling the echo of her words resonate within their own hearts, reaffirming their shared mission. Jonah held Alia's gaze, his spirit buoyed by this unfolding connection. What we give to each other can transform our world. It creates ripples that touch lives far beyond our grasp. As they continued to talk, a divine presence seemed to envelop them, a palpable reminder of the greater purpose binding them together. Love flowed freely, breaking down the walls of isolation, illuminating paths once shadowed. Yet, even amid this warmth, a feeling stirred, a gentle prompt beneath the surface. What lay ahead? How could they sustain this love beyond this very moment? Jonah felt the weight of those questions hang in the air, a sweet anticipation echoing against the walls of their newfound mission. No longer were they just a group of villagers. They were becoming something more, a living testament to divine love. And so, beneath the canopy of hope and vulnerability, the question lingered like the fragrance of blooming flowers: could they hold this light when, faced with the trials that surely awaited them? The air thickened again, stirring with possibility. A new chapter beckoned, filled with the promise of challenges, blessings, and the greater purpose woven intricately into the fabric of their journey. What would they discover next as they ventured into the arms of the unknown? As dawn broke over Willowbrook, the village breathed renewed life. The warmth of the morning sun flooded the church, illuminating faces intertwined with joy and purpose. Mary stood at the forefront, a vibrant aura dancing around her, filled with love for her neighbors and an unwavering commitment to the path ahead. With Alia among them, the community felt a boundless unity, each heartbeat echoing a collective call to reflect Goddess grace into the world. The day had arrived for their first act of love in action. Together, they gathered supplies, food, and heartfelt intentions to share with those in need. Mary sensed the energy of hope blossoming like seeds taking root, growing wild and free. Today, Mary declared, her voice ringing with conviction, we will reach those who feel lost or alone. We shall be conversers of the love we have stirred together. The villagers cheered, hands clasped in divine solidarity as they ventured into the heart of Willowbrook. The air buzzed with a divine expectation. A sense of purpose surged within them. It was not merely a mission. It was a manifestation of their faith woven into the fabric of everyday life. Samuel smiled, his youthful joy infectious. We'll bring smiles back. Each step felt like a pilgrimage, a walk of faith through streets once cloaked in shadows of isolation. The villagers knocked on doors, shared warm meals, listened with open hearts. They offered kindness, extending hands toward those who ached for connection. With each encounter, warmth flooded their spirits. An elderly widow found comfort in shared laughter as Alia recounted her journey of hope, courage blooming in her heart. A once unreachable man, hidden behind walls of grief, accepted Mary's extension of friendship, finding solace in the gentle light she brought. As they shared stories of struggles and triumphs, doubts melted away like frost under the sun. Lives intertwined, their vulnerability became their strength, and the light of God shone through their unity. Meanwhile, Jonah watched from a distance, a satisfied smile gracing his face. He understood this act of love transcended mere gestures. They were breaking chains, illuminating destinies long shrouded in darkness. As he moved through the streets, he whispered blessings over the encounters, carrying the richness of their shared grace. Yet, lurking in the shadows, an unease rippled like a whisper. Not all received warmth willingly. Some dismissed their efforts, throwing harsh words like stones. What foolishness is this? A voice erupted from a distance. Mary felt a heaviness settle on her shoulders, but she refused to falter. Instead, she turned toward the skeptical onlooker, her spirit radiating resilience. We share love. We come as vessels of hope, she declared, her voice steady. Doubt us if you must, but we will not be swayed from sharing the light. The other villagers echoed her sentiments, their collective strength rising like a fortress against the encroaching shadows. Jonah stepped in. Remember, dear friends, love cannot be extinguished. Each act you perform sends ripples into the world. With faith we stand anchored against resistance. Look not to the shadows. Continue to carry your light. With renewed fervor, they pressed on, their actions becoming a testament to the endurance of love. Hearts swelled, and laughter echoed. They learned that love could indeed withstand scrutiny. It thrived on it, growing ever more profound in the face of doubt. As dusk descended over Willowbrook, the villagers returned home, hearts overflowing with fulfillment. They had witnessed transformations not just in others, but in themselves. In embracing their divine purpose, they had become agents of change, weaving a tapestry of grace that would stretch beyond their immediate community. Mary stood at the church steps, Samuel beside her, watching the villagers embrace their daily lives with renewed vigor. Each face reflected a kind of joy that radiated far and wide, a divine manifestation of faith in action. "Mama," Samuel whispered, clutching her hand, Can we keep doing this? Can we help more people? Tears sparkled in Mary's eyes. A mix of gratitude and hope flooded her. Yes, my dear, this is just the beginning. We will keep walking this path, lighting the way. Together, we are not alone. The community grew stronger, faces often returning to the church, each person embraced in a collective harmony that no darkness could fracture. Night after night, they gathered, not just to share their challenges but also to celebrate victories, linking arms under the weight of life's beautiful complexities. Mary closed her eyes, still cradling the leather tome of the Corpus Hermeticum. The glowing warmth inside felt real, an unfurling of mysteries that would continue to be unveiled. Every day brings new blessings, she murmured, feeling a gentle presence. In that moment of divine unity, they were transformed. No longer just villagers, they were a family connected through love, illuminated by a promise. And as Mary gazed toward the heavens, she could almost hear the heartbeat of God echoing in their midst, ushering them toward further discoveries beyond imagination. No matter the trials that awaited, faith had reignited a sacred flame within them, a fire that would spread boundlessly, igniting transformation wherever they walked. Now, dear friends, let us carry this light beyond these pages. You need to subscribe now for more powerful faith stories that unveil the glory of God's love. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this divine message further. Comment your reactions, your testimonies, and let your voices ripple through this journey. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope. Don't wait even one more second to illuminate the world with God's love through your support.